What's going on, everybody? It's Jewfy here, and today we will be reacting to deleted scenes from the film Uncle Tom, which was executive produced by this man right here, Larry Elder. Shout out to him. And this is a 16-minute video. I've been trying to keep my videos in that 20-minute range when I record them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before I start, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your mama, tell your brother, tell everybody. All right, let's get into this, y'all.
How could you be a black man voting for
Because I'm not led by the nose. I think for myself.
You think for yourself?
The white man doesn't think for me. The black man doesn't think for me. I don't need Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and the rest of those clowns.
So Trump ain't a clown?
No, Trump is not a clown.
He's a straight house.
I think it's condescending to assume that because I'm a black.
So he just called him a house N-word. He said, you a house N-word because he voted for Trump. And I just think that's ironic. It's ironic that, and whether he voted for Biden or he didn't vote at all, I just think it's ironic. You know, you got people on one side calling, people on the left calling Trump supporters and conservatives Uncle Toms and Sambo and house N-word when they vote for white people who do more harm to people of our skin color. So it's like it doesn't even make sense, man. These people just, they're brainwashed.
Black man, I'm supposed to vote for a Democrat, whether it's coming from the media telling me to do it, or from a politician telling me to do it, or even from another black person to tell me to do it. You can't, on one hand, say that you're against slavery, but then on the other hand, tell me how to vote, what to wear, how to speak, you know what I mean, how to live my life, because black people are supposed to do these things. They're supposed to vote this way. They're supposed to talk this way. They're supposed to walk this way.
Yeah, he's speaking straight facts. I mean, just a little bit of my background. I was born in Chicago, grew up in the western suburbs, like the suburbs west of Chicago, went to a predominantly black high school, you know, blacks, Mexicans, and ever since I was from as young as I can remember, you know, I was told to be, you know, watch out for the police. You know, it's gonna be harder for you because you black. Basically, any black, any stereotype or trope about what it is like to be black, I've heard it all. And you seriously will get ostracized, exiled from the black community if you don't think the way most black people do. And most black people, or 90% of black people that vote Democrat. I think it's actually more than 90. It's declining, it's decreasing right now. They losing the black vote a bit, but for the past 70 years, 60 years, something like that, we voted over 90% Democrat. And if you don't think like that, man, they will throw every name in the books at you.
They're supposed to believe a certain thing, because that's slavery. You can't say that you're against slavery, but then put me in a box and tell me that this is how I have to perform.
You called me a nigger.
I didn't call you no
Yes,
nigger.
you did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
But you can say that. That's just constitutional right. You know anything about the
You're a
Constitution?
house nigga. I didn't call you a nigga.
Oh, okay. That's a big difference.
You're Uncle Tom.
Oh, is that my Uncle Tom?
To call somebody an Uncle Tom is completely idiotic, because if you've read Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, you'll see that Uncle Tom was actually a very good person. He did a lot of good things. He sacrificed on behalf of other slaves who were on the plantation.
In many ways, there's a lot of dramatic irony at play with being called an Uncle Tom.
When you use the term Uncle Tom to demean someone, being ignorant, not knowing the history of what Uncle Tom means, you know, you're literally just signifying the fact that you yourself are ignorant.
After educating myself on the story of Uncle Tom and learning about Josiah Henson, he was a completely good person, completely opposite of what the black community thinks Uncle Tom is.
Uncle Tom was the hero. He was the hero.
He was self-sacrificing. And ultimately, he paid the ultimate sacrifice for not ratting out.
And this is based on a true story, I'm assuming. I got to read this book. See, isn't it amazing? I've heard the phrase Uncle Tom since I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. I didn't even know that there was a book about it. So how is it that this book has just been, you know, it's like the telephone game. You know, you send a story down to this person, the next person, and it never comes back the same. How is it that black people have used this phrase Uncle Tom for 60, 70 years, and we don't even know what it means. I got to read that book.
The other slaves that had escaped.
Uncle Tom was the hero of Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and nobody knows that. So they call us Uncle Toms to hurt us. And every time I get called, I just go, oof, I need to read the book.
A lot of black conservatives have kind of flipped the narrative on Uncle Tom. I mean, we embrace it. You know, we say, yeah, yep, that's me.
I'll get into debates with people. They'll call me an Uncle Tom, and I'll say, thank you, I appreciate the compliment.
It should be a badge of honor. I wear it as a badge of honor. I like to tell people I'm a proud Uncle Tom.
This whole scenario is indicative of the problem with the black community. The man who's trying to save the black community is demonized, and the one who's damaging and destroying the black community, a lot of people don't even know him. They don't even know the demon in their own communities. But the one who's helping them, they want to throw you away.
What they're actually meaning to call someone is a Sambo, which Sambo was the one who was always telling on the other slaves and telling the master where the slaves were hiding.
Now, I've heard the term Sambo be used before, but Uncle Tom is used a lot more. Like, Sambo is rare. It's rare somebody calls you a Sambo. But an Uncle Tom, you hear that one all the time. But isn't it funny how someone will call you an Uncle Tom and a Sambo in the same sentence? It's like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. How can you be Uncle Tom and Sambo?
He wanted to see the slaves get caught and the master triumph.
Sambo was who they refer to as Uncle Tom. And then they just switch it to Sambo. They don't stop and think to say, oh man, all these years I've been saying, wow, I have been kind of brainwashed to a bit to see it this way. And they don't see that. They just completely move Uncle Tom aside and bring in Sambo, and now you're Sambo.
Now, after we develop a vaccine for the coronavirus, can we develop one for white guilt?
I can deal with an honest bigot than I can a patronizing liberal. I can change a bigot faster than I can a patronizing liberal.
I'm going to now lead us in.
Yep. Hey, better a wolf than a wolf in sheep's clothing.
And an apology from white Americans to African Americans on behalf of our country, to you and to your ancestors and to all of you.
Black people.
I skipped through that a little bit. I remember this. This is when they had this white lady, I guess she's a minister of the church, the head of the church. She made all of the white people like hold hands with black people and apologize for the sins of their ancestors, which it doesn't even make sense. You know, you need a little bit of statistics to talk about it, but I forgot where I heard this. I think I heard this from Officer Tatum, and it was something like back during when slavery was legal, I think only 11 or 10% of white people actually owned slaves. So that statistic alone right there just proves that it wasn't even like racism isn't every white people's problem the way they try to make it seem. Like, if you had nothing to do with it, you had nothing to do with it. There's no need to apologize for anything. It's an atrocious act, but you know, only 10-11% of whites or people even own slaves, and some slave plantation owners were actually black. A lot of people don't know that or like to talk about that, but that's actually true. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's like 10%. It's just like everybody, that stuff was expensive. It was expensive to purchase slaves. It was expensive to have your own plantation. You know, most people aren't owners, they're employees. And it was the same thing back in the day. If you could afford to have a plantation, if you could afford to, you know, purchase slaves, then you had them. But if you didn't, then, you know, you were just a racist or maybe you're just a normal person or whatever. But everyone, like for some reason, black people think and just the way they terribly represent history when it's being taught here in America, people think that every white person has something to do with slavery and every white person was a slave owner and every white person's racist. It's in every white person's DNA. It's like, no, that's just not true.
People in this church and repeat this solemn chant of I'm sorry basically for all the atrocities that my people committed against you.
On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, all of the injustices.
Yeah, I'm skipping past this a little bit.
I apologize.
That's what the white progressive burden is. And it's weird. I will never understand it.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer said it best. He said that one of the most difficult human phenomena to confront is not malice, because malice you can confront with violence. It's folly. It's when someone is doing something that they believe to be in your interest. And the more you say to them, you're strangling me to death. Oh.
Yep, that's like that smothering love. That's kind of like overprotective parents that don't let. And I've seen kids with overprotective parents, you know, turn out bad because they don't let their kid ever start making their own decisions. It's I just love you so much. I just care about you so much, you know. But you know, to someone's detriment, if it's to someone's detriment, you need to stop caring so much.
But I love you.
At their core, a white liberal is the ultimate narcissist. That's it. The ultimate narcissist. It's the people that adopt animals for the purpose of saying I adopted an animal. Like to them, we are these pathetic, cute little playthings that they can then take to their friends and say, look at this person that I helped.
As we call it, xenophilic tokenism. They take on the struggles of others so that they deflect away from talking about actual issues.
They want so much to be a good white person and to be perceived as a good white person. And if you want to see if a white progressive is a good white person, put them in the room with a black conservative. See how that conversation goes.
The biggest challenge to try to figure out whether a white liberal is genuinely just confused or whether they're a narcissist is simply tell them, no thank you. That's the test that I say that you should do to all white liberals. Say, actually, no, I don't see myself as a victim. Watch how they react. Because if all you're out to do is help black Americans, you come across a black American that says, actually, like, I'm feeling empowered and I feel great, you should be happy. Oh man, I'm so happy to hear that. That's great.
Yeah, like imagine that. Just imagine me as a black person, a white person coming along and saying like, oh, did you hear about the voting rights, the voting rights being suppressed by black people or something like that, and just being like, you should be angry about that. You're not really black. Joe Biden said it. If you don't know if you're voting for me or Trump, you ain't black. Just imagine that. Imagine the nerve of someone, the gall of somebody to come in and tell me that, a black person, and they're not even black. It's like, you know, it's not a monolithic thing. No race is. You know, you can be whoever you want to be.
That's not how they react. They freak out. They block you. I'm blocked by Alyssa Milano.
When someone says that they're progressive, they shouldn't automatically be perceived as caring, non-racist, non-bigoted.
Most of my experiences of racialized dialogue in a negative way or in confrontations with white progressives.
That part. I got experience around white progressives, and I got experience being around white conservatives, and I'll put me in a room with white conservatives any day. Not only because I'm conservative, I just feel like they're not faking. They just really are who they are. Progressives fake the funk. They like to fake the funk. You know, it's a lot of virtue signaling going on. White conservatives, they're not trying to virtue signal for crap. They just live their life. They are who they are. They say what they believe, and you know, they believe in what they believe in. But like I said, that's the argument of the wolf versus the wolf or the wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, the white progressives are the wolves in sheep's clothing. They swear that they're harmless and they're only doing good things for you or want good for you, but no.
Who I guess hate me because they hate racism.
Just yesterday, I got a message from a white lady saying that I was a disgrace to my race. It was odd to me that a white woman would declare me a disgrace to my race based on her own stereotypes and preconceived notions of what minorities should think.
They sell this idea of tolerance and inclusivity, and we love everyone and everyone is welcomed here, but no, that's not true. We are only welcome there if we believe exactly what you want us to believe.
They will act as if for you to rebuff their overtures of sadness or apology is in itself the most despicable crime. It is because the modern white liberal needs you to be a victim. They have weaponized the notion of being a victim. Yep. And various minorities have latched onto that. And that has become the identity that they've taken on.
What message is this sending to these white people that are having to go out in their actual lives or their workplaces or whatever and like deal with black people? The message that it's sending to them is that you have to walk on eggshells with this person. This person's going to be a perpetual victim, and I'm going to be so afraid to interact with this person as if they're a human being that I'm just not going to interact at all. And I think that is.
Yeah, it's like, man, let's go back to the good old locker room days, man, where, you know, black and white people would be in the same locker room and cracking jokes, racist jokes about each other, man. It's all good fun. It's really all good fun until somebody means it for real. But you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be around no one that has to walk on eggshells, like he said, and tiptoe around me because they think I'm some sort of victim or they feel sorry for their ancestors' past transgressions. Like, man, no.
Is the real result of all of the woke, explaining, anti-racist, intersectionality crap.
Finally, there was a lot of love for President Donald Trump after these young black Uncle Toms visited the White House.
Hello.
Hey, y'all.
We love our President Trump.
Thank you guys.
We do. USA.
USA, that was
It was
phenomenal.
great. Amazing. For illegal. It was great.
That was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I would never forget that.
It was wonderful, man. It was beautiful. Absolutely. Look at all these Uncle Toms, right? Free thinking
I want to meet Candace Owens one day. I love Candace Owens.
blacks.
It was fantastic. It was amazing. It's such an honor to have been able to get there and even see the president in person. It was amazing.
I just met the president, man. He told me I was the flyest guy in the room. It was an honor. Thank you. You know, but they didn't think I would be here, guy from the streets, in the White House.
I never would think I'd be one of the first in my family to be invited to the White House as a black man. You know, not too many people can say that amongst black families. You know, so it's good that that actually happened, you know. I made history in my family.
Amazing experience, lots of regular Americans getting in there, having an opportunity to share laughs with the President of the United States. It was a great experience.
Yeah, like, to be honest, a Trump rally just seems like a good time to me. It just seems like a good time. I gotta go to one of those, too.
10. I lost my voice a little bit, so I'm sorry.
It was amazing.
She had a great time.
See the president, see the vice president.
Yes, sir.
See many black American conservatives.
So it was just lit. It was energy. This is our third, this me and her third time. So every time we go, President Trump, he's like so funny, and it's just lit. The energy is amazing every time. I feel warm.
Electrifying, like, I caught chills. As soon as he came in, the way the crowd erupted in there was like,
The president said we blew his ears out.
Got a chance to listen to all the things that he's done for the black community, and I'm just grateful for this president. I didn't support him.
See, and just real quick, this is the problem with the Democratic Party today and just the trajectory that they have been on for years. They have to understand that if half the population thinks like this, you can't just come out and say anyone that supports Trump is a racist, bigot, xenophobe, homophobe, every phobe, and ist that you can name, because you are alienating, ostracizing half of the country, and also the people on your same side that are a bit more tolerant and understanding of the difference of views. You are disregarding those people. That's not how you win. You gotta think about America as a whole, not about just your side, both sides.
The last election, but after seeing what he's done and that speech he gave in there, he's convinced me. I'm voting for him in 2020.
He made it very clear that he is here to put America first. You know, we have people suffering here, but meanwhile, we're spending so much time and energy devoted towards illegals or people coming to this country unfairly. And, you know, Democrats have made a mess of our inner cities, but he is really trying to root all that mess out and really help people in the ways that are actually effective, rather than the empty lies and promises that Democrats have been giving, but we haven't had any
Preach.
results.
People are waking up. People are changing.
Hey,
Humans
Bryson
are
Gray.
naturally conservative. Because we're humans. You grow up being taught to work hard for what you got. You don't grow up being told you're going to get something because you just want it. You're saying, like, you ain't got to work for it. When I went in the store and I tried to get a Snickers and I ain't had no money for it, Mama smacked my hand, put that Snickers back. You feel me? We can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? But Democrats, they say, hey, we give you everything for free. That ain't reality, because nothing is free, because we pay for everything with our taxes. They work for us.
It was Donald Trump who woke me up, man. At first, when he was nominated and he was elected, I was not a big fan, but to see the things he's done for the black community, to see things he's done for America in particular, I'm a huge fan now, and he has my support 4 more years, and I'll be voting for Donald J. Trump. See you there.
And when he told us, when he asked us, what the hell do we have to lose? I said, that is exactly right. Our schools are horrible. Our communities are horrible.
We got to do something about it.
We have to do something about it.
And he is.
But I know with him, we're going to make a big change here in America.
I think a lot of African Americans are waking up.
and they're coming to the realization that Trump is great for America.
Trump has done so many fantastic things, not only for, you know, what you think the white people or the rich people, but for the black people, for the Asian people, for the Latino people, for everyone. He has done something amazing, and he will keep doing things.
And see, my thing is this. If you disagree with all these people, why don't you just go? Why don't you just go for yourself and see? Like, what are you scared of? Go to a Trump rally. It don't even got to be a rally. Go to like any type of protest in his name. Like, sit with these people, you know, mingle with these people and really see what's on their mind to get a real understanding. But that's the thing. People don't really want to understand. They just want to be right.
It's amazing. And when he is elected in 2020, he will continue to make this country.
I wish he got elected.
It's easy to get excited about our president who is putting your needs first. And that's too often something that we don't hear from the mainstream media, is the way he's trying to help America be the best that it can be. So it was fantastic to be there and, you know, just basically tell him thank you for standing up for us, because we know that he takes a lot of hits from the media for us, and we're so happy to support him.
You gotta love this man, man. He brings togetherness, man, and that's what it's about. Unity as Americans, America first, man.
The media wants people to think that, you know, the black community hates Donald Trump, but that's not necessarily true. This event is proof, and I know you can say it's a small fraction of, you know, the black population, but they have family members and other people, friends who weren't able to come here, that they're ecstatic that they're here.
I don't think they're gonna show this because they want to like, oh, Trump is racist. They're not gonna show this because that's not a part of their narrative.
They're gonna want to ignore it and hope it goes away. That's how they deal with like an inconvenient a fact. They'll bury it, they'll ignore it, or they'll twist it.
Because they don't want to pretty much deal with the truth. And the fact of the matter is, the conservative message resonates with black America. And, you know, as time continues to turn, the Democrats are going to have to reckon with that eventually.
The little coverage that it seems that we do get in this movement is that we're paid, that we're tokens, that we're not actually believing in the voices that are speaking, and that we are being used and paid by politicians.
And isn't that, I think I spoke to this a little bit earlier, but isn't it funny how conservatives are being used, but if you vote Democrat, you're not being used at all? Really? Come on now.
And that's couldn't be so far from the truth. But that is how they like to paint us, specifically black conservatives. They like to deem us as tokens.
Instead of just telling the truth. It seems like they're so scared to tell the truth because they know like our community will wake up if they get the truth out there.
The media for a long time has fooled the black community into believing that Republicans are racist. But when we study our history, we find out that it was the Republicans that actually passed the first civil rights bill, and it was the Republicans that abolished slavery. And so now that
I think the first black people that ever held any type of seats or whatever in office, Congress, something like that, I think they were Republicans. So I think the first black people to even step foot in this whole politics game were black. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Starting to learn for ourselves and think for ourselves, you're going to see a lot of more black people voting for Republicans.
It's growing every day.
We see that on the ground every day. We see that on our social media every day. We interact with people every day that are waking up, that see this movement happening.
You have black conservatives not being scared to come out here and show who they are anymore, and you're going to have a revolution of young children out there in the future. They won't be so young anymore, and they're going to be speaking their mind, and they're going to be speaking the truth, and they're going to be proud of who they are. Conservatives, you can't shut them down. You can't shut them down on the social media, and they will always be who they are.
And we want all the smoke. You did that? Because pit like that, right? You think you can bully people to stop doing something, right? Call us coons, all them type of names, right? Usually people run into their little cubby holes after that. But I feel like it's a new movement now, and we want all the smoke. It's really clear. You feel me? Like Antifa, they keep bullying people because people allow themselves to get bullied. But see, the difference is we want all the smoke. Yep. You know what I'm saying? People tell me not to wear the MAGA hat, so I bought the biggest MAGA hat. Then I bought a bigger one. So next time somebody say something to me, duh, common sense, a bigger one. It's simple math, really, when you put it all together. So I feel like we started a new movement, and it's a revolution, and we want all the smoke. That's my message, period.
To see Uncle Tom, just go to uncletom.com. It's going to be far more widely available soon on places like Amazon.
All right, that's the video, guys. I need to go watch this movie ASAP because it's been out for, I think, 2 years now. But, yeah, that was the video, guys. Go check out Uncle Tom. Go subscribe to Larry Elder's YouTube channel so you can see all the videos he makes. I'm out. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and until next time, peace.